What's up? What's up? What's up, my mind your money business folks? It's me yet again with another video. And today I'm outside before the sun sets, right? Because I just wanted to come outside. Uh, I was out earlier today, but that was during my morning little walk, my 4 mile walk that I went on. But today I wanted to talk about something that is very prevalent and that's an issue in America right now. And as you can see by the title, it's about why more Americans can't afford to stop working. When we live in the richest country in the world, but you have a lot of Americans, more and more, who can't afford to stop working. So let's start with the story. It's about someone named Teresa. She thought these would be her golden years. Instead, she gets up at dawn to crisscross Los Angeles by bus to work as a caregiver. Waiting at her home at the end of the day is her last patient, Ed, her husband of 55 years who's recovering from a serious car accident. She started caring for others at the age of 18 when her grandmother had Alzheimer's disease. At 77, she tires more easily. Sometimes she has to stop and catch her breath. But taking a breath isn't an option. Every dollar counts. She doesn't buy new clothes or get her nails done. She has no credit cards and deposits every cent she doesn't spend on bills in a savings account. Wow. How many of you are in that situation? Still, she barely clears enough each month to cover groceries, utilities, and $1,500 rent on her two-bedroom apartment where her four grandchildren and 9-year-old German Shepherd also live. Wow. I bless Jesus and God for me to be as strong as I am at this age, she says. Sometimes I wish I could stop working, but the way my life is going, I'm not sure I can. How many of you are in that situation, or how many those of you that know people who are in similar situations? They wish they could stop working because they are in their golden years, but they cannot afford to. So it says here, retirement is easily becoming a luxury many American workers cannot afford. With rising housing costs and medical expenses, and without the pensions that buoyed previous generations, millions of older Americans can't stop working. It says here without pensions. So here's the thing, many companies, well, not many companies, companies got away with paying out pensions to their employees by creating the 401k program. The problem is a lot of people are not educated on 401k program. Some people are investing in their 401k program and never looked at what their money is even invested in, you know? And then people don't invest enough money into their 401k program. And it's not enough money to maintain their lifestyle once they retire. Also, Social Security, which pays less than half of an average wage and faces possible benefits cuts, doesn't stretch far enough, and many older Americans have too little stowed away in savings or 401k accounts to get by. To me, articles like this is something to learn from. I believe from every negative situation, there's always something to learn from, especially if it has to do with money. So, what this tells me, because I'm not at the age of 74, is what I should not do to avoid a situation similar to Teresa's. That means while I'm younger, I need to invest at least 15% of my income, 15 to 20, however much money into my retirement account. I need to have cash set aside for emergencies. I need to have a budget and be in control of my finances, or I will be in a situation like Teresa, who's 74 years old, taking care of her grandkids, a dog, and her husband, who's still in recovery or who's in recovery. And, life happens. And life has a way of showing us how we do not properly prepare for it. Um, the information is out there. No one has to be stuck in a situation where they don't have enough money. While there's other things in play, um, you can seek the help that you need in order to get out of the situation that you're in. So, in fact, only about half American households have retirement accounts, according to the Federal Survey of Consumer Finances. Many older Americans can't stop working at retirement age. So, for decades, the combination of pensions, defined benefits programs, and Social Security made a dignified retirement possible for many Americans. Not today. Research from labor economist and professor at the New York School for Social Research shows that 10% of Americans between ages of 62 and 70 who are retired are financially stable. 10%. So it makes sense when these politicians go out there and they lay claim to, or they make these boisterous claims that they're going to do this, they're going to do that, why so many people rally behind them. Normally when you are stable in life, uh, you tend to keep to yourself. Or if you do things, you just do it behind the scenes. But again, when, say, a politician can get on TV or get on social media and they can blame certain things, policies, and people for the issues most Americans face, most Americans get on board with that and they say, yes, that's the reason why I can't get ahead, is because of X, Y, and Z. However, they never look in the mirror and see how they wasted a lot of their time, energy, and money in the wrong thing. And they did not take advantage of a lot of things that were in place, but they just didn't know about it. you know so you can't really blame other people, places, and things for your financial issues. So I'm going to stay on topic. It's all about finances, right? So most older Americans either are retired or live below the standard of living they had when they were working, or they can't afford to stop working, according to the data Chilarducci, I probably pronounced that right, analyzed from the University of Michigan's Health and Retirement Survey. 1 in 2 people reaching retirement won't have enough, and 1 in 4 seniors are in poverty, measured by international standards, Gallarducci said. So that's that's a lot of people, and you have people living a lot longer. So this is going to get even bigger. The retirement savings crisis in the United States is no longer looming. It is here now, reads the first sentence in a recent report from the National Institute on Retirement Security. It's here, people. It's here. So we're far from where we need to be, said Dan Dunan, executive director of the National Institute on Retirement Security and one of the report's authors. I never imagined I would be in this situation. Older Americans like Robin face a frightening and once unthinkable prospect. They will be poor for the first time in their lives. Robin, who has been working since she was 14, retired on her 70th birthday. But she says she couldn't stay retired. After taking 2 months car camping trip to New York with her 10-year-old dog, Midnight, she returned home to Florida to look for work. It's the only way I can afford to keep living, she said. To live on Social Security alone nowadays is an absolute joke, especially in Florida. For much of her life, she lived comfortably. She worked as a real estate agent, loan officer, and mortgage processor before owning her own marketing business. So she owned a business. Then her deteriorating health made it impossible to work full time. Over the last 20 years, she has had 15 surgeries. That's why when you're younger, Again, like when I say life be life, and that means things are going to happen. It's going to throw you curveballs. You should try to prepare for things that can happen as much as possible. Because I guarantee you, um, this person did not expect this to happen. She didn't. Robin didn't see these 15 surgeries coming. She did not see that she would be working after she retired at the age of 70. That's why you put plans in place, budgets, emergency funds, invest. So when life happens or that curveball is thrown at you, you have a cushion in place. And you can put all these things in place, not just on your own, because you may not know how to. That's why you can, seek advice from a financial planner or a CPA. Seek the professional help that can help you create a plan. And the sooner you do it, the better. The sooner you do it, the better, people. Again, one thing that we cannot get back is time. And a lot of our younger years, and I can vouch for this, we waste a lot of time on the wrong things, right? And then when we get older, we're like, what happened, right? Life happened. That's what happened. So for a time, she got on by credit cards until she couldn't keep up with the payments and had to file for bankruptcy. She owes $18,000 on a car that appraises for a quarter of that. Depreciating assets. We spend a lot of money on depreciating assets. There are people out there that are making $60,000 a year and they own a $45,000 car. They own a $50,000 car. Some of them may own a $60,000 car. So you own a car for the same amount of money that you make a year. Just because you can make that $800 car payment, it catches up with you when you have to pay insurance. Then you have to also pay rent. Then you also have to pay utilities, and you have to put gas in that car, and you have to pay, the travel in HOV, and you have to buy groceries. Things add up, and you have to pay back those student loans, right? So she used to be a homeowner. Robin, she used to be a homeowner. Now she lives temporarily in a she shed behind her daughter's home. She wants to start a Facebook page for people 62 and older and a nonprofit that serves as a housing connection, matching older Americans who need help paying rent or the mortgage with those who need a place to live. She never imagined she would be in this situation. Right, that's the problem. She wasn't thinking. There are so many people and so many Americans that don't think. They don't think until it's too late. Until the crisis hits you, then you start thinking, wow, how did this happen? That's why you have to prepare for life. If you don't put a plan in place, you're planning to fail. You have to put a plan in place, people. Like there are a lot of people that are dying without a will. They're dying without life insurance. And then the family is left behind trying to figure out how we're going to pay for funeral services. That's why you put a plan in place. So, because it's going to happen. You're not going to live forever. So, yeah. So, work, retire, repeat. So, Ghilarducci, author of Work, Retire, Repeat, The Uncertainty of Retirement in the New Economy, blames the retirement savings crisis on the switch to 401k. These do-it-yourself pensions have marooned a growing number of low and middle income Americans, forcing them to work long into their 70s, she said. I guarantee you they're going to say this. These companies did away with pensions, and then they told people they need to start investing in their own retirements, i.e. 401k plan. But you never taught these average people about investing. You never taught them that. You just switched them over, and then you wash your hands of them. And then they retire from your company. Then they come back and work for your company or your family's business, and where you continue to make millions and billions of dollars, and they have nothing, But again, the information is out there. We have to be aware of it. And those of us that are aware of it now, we need to be passing this information on to the younger generation They should not have to suffer and deal with these negative aspects of life and not being prepared, like, say, those that are 62 years and older. Teach them what not to do. So some influential people are starting to agree, right? These do-it-yourself pensions are not working, and it's forcing people to have to work far into their 70s. So Larry Fink, I don't know if you guys know Larry, but Larry's Larry Fink. He's the chairman and CEO of BlackRock, one of the world's largest asset management companies. Warned the "you're on your own" approach has shifted Americans from financial certainty to financial uncertainty. So it's like when you put things out there about, hey, uh, especially in a political way, like these are the people that are causing your financial problems and burdens. To me, I don't believe that to be true. If you have a financial problem and a burden in your life, you're the problem. It's your fault, not because someone is receiving free health care and dental. You know, we live in the richest country in the world. There's no reason why you can't capitalize on what America has to offer. And if you do, again, we have to get out of this victim mindset. I even had to get out of that victim mindset, blaming my past, you know, on why I can't get ahead. I had to make that adjustment mentally because it's all mental and psychological. And you have to wake yourself up and you have to get out. I had to, well, not you, but for me, I had to get out of my feelings and I had to think. It's okay to feel. I mean, I still feel, but you can't live 100% of your time in your feelings, because they change all the time. And then you could be thinking like something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just going about things the wrong way. And some of us realize that on our own, and some people never realize that, right? So Larry Fink points out that 4 in 10 Americans don't have $400 in emergency savings to cover a car repair or a trip to the emergency room, let alone retirement savings. And that is true. Listen to Dave Ramsey's podcast, and you will hear the people that are struggling to save $1,000 to start his debt snowball effect in paying off your debt and lowering your debt to income ratio or get rid of your debt altogether. You have people that are making 6 figures that are struggling to do so, right? So maybe once a decade, the U.S. faces a problem so big and urgent that government and corporate leaders stop business as usual, he wrote in March. That's March of this year. America needs an organized, high level effort to ensure that future generations can live out their final years with dignity. So, retirement crisis will get worse for millennials, Gen Z. Without an intervention, the retirement savings crisis will only worsen as more Americans reach retirement age, said Kevin Prindiville, executive director of a nonprofit, Justice in Aging. If we don't take action, future generations will face an even worse, challenging, and even more challenging retirement landscape, he said. I'm passing this information on to my daughter and family members that are willing to listen. You have to put a plan in place. You have to live life with a purpose. You can't just be out here not thinking about anything and not realizing that what you do currently has consequences. It can either be negative or positive. And as we can see here, a lot of Americans have taken advantage of America and has not put anything in place. And that's why the rich continue to get richer. The rich doesn't get rich because they're rich. The rich are getting richer from these 1 in 4, 4 in 10 Americans that have no retirement because they spent all of their money. That's why they're trying to figure out what happened to it, because they did not create a budget. They did not have any control or discipline over their finances. They did not have their money work for them. However, they continued to work hard and they spent even harder. And now in their golden years, where a lot of people are still healthy, but they're still working. Why can't you be healthy and travel, and do what you want to do? That's what you should be planning for yourself. But that's not something that is advertised. It's not something that's taught. So, so younger people are already rattled, particularly those with unstable employment and unsteady incomes. So, Angel, 23, said she was eager to start putting away for retirement. A self described go getter, she started working when she was a teenager. After graduating high school, she dreamed of a career in medicine and got a certified nursing assistant's license. But when her elderly adopted mother fell ill, she became her caregiver. See, life threw a curveball, right? With her mom, her only family, died after a lengthy illness. She was suddenly alone. Her nursing license had expired and she had no savings, so she worked her way up in a fast food and retail. She was thrilled to land a job as an assistant manager at Macy's on Long Island in 2022. She loved her team and her customers. It was also the first job that offered 401k. Then she got sick. At 22, she was diagnosed with a debilitating and painful autoimmune disorder that makes getting up and moving around difficult. See, life is going to continue to life. Today, she lives in a public assistance and hunting for home from home positions. What money she has, she spends on medication, savings for retirements, and a dream she has had to defer indefinitely. I wish there were more retirement options out there, she said. A lot of the time, you can't even afford to pay into retirement because you're just barely getting by. That's why I think that it's very important for parents to create wealth, put away money to leave behind. But when you don't prepare yourself, you can't help those that you do leave behind. Again, like I said earlier, how those people that pass away without any life insurance, and then you have the family trying to figure out how to pay for a funeral. So if you had no life insurance, more than likely you didn't plan, you didn't teach your kids how to plan. And so I know people personally that had to wait months before they could bury their loved ones because they had to figure out or they had to come up with money to bury them. No one was financially stable. It sucks, people. It sucks. Life sucks when you don't prepare for it. You can prepare for things and bad things can happen, but because you had a plan in place, you know, things continue to move on and no one has to like feel the financial brunt of the situation. Although the situation, if sickness and death is involved, it's saddening. But when you have the finances in place, not a problem. Like I already told my daughter what's going to happen and what she needs to do. So, granted, I may no longer be here, but financially, she won't have to worry about anything. So, three simple tips to save for retirement, right? Save early and consistently. The earlier, the better. You have to save. You have to save. You have to save. You have to save. So put away 5% of your take-home pay in your 20s and 30s. I wish I had done that. And 10% the rest of your working life. Put it away, people. If you do that and don't touch it, you can supplement Social Security and keep your standard of living. Ghilarducci says, the expert, not me, the expert. The earlier you do, because of the power of compound interest, the better, people. Compound interest is no joke, especially when say you have your money in a good money market account, if savings account, or you're investing in the stock market, and you're getting back returns like this year over 20-30%, or if you have some individual stocks that are bringing back returns 80% this year, 100% this year, you're beating inflation. Leaving your money in the bank, your money is losing value. Inflation is the cost of goods and services going up, and it's going to continue to go up. It's not going to go down. So if you're not investing your money to have your money make higher percentages, like say in the stock market, you're losing value on your money. The second thing to do is invest wisely. Be a savvy investor. Don't get stock tips from friends and families or hire a pricey fund manager. Maintain a balanced portfolio and retirement savings account, with a company like Vanguard. I've talked about Vanguard's funds like VTSAX. It covers the entire stock market. The big companies, the mid-sized companies, and the small companies, and the micro-sized companies. You cover the whole entire market. So you don't have to be the expert. You can also invest into Vanguard VOO S&P ETF, but it's pretty expensive. That's why I invest in SPLG ETF, which is the same thing. It consists of the 500 largest companies in the United States that has over $1 trillion net worth, and it brings back, my S&P 500 ETF SPLG. This year it brought back at least, well, year to date, 27%, over 27% returns. You're not going to get that in your bank. So invest wisely. If you don't trust yourself to pick a good stock or ETF, seek financial advice. And the third thing is pay attention, people. Life is teaching us all the time. If the ones before you, especially those in your family, or if you're listening to this video and you heard these stories of people, they're working till they're 70, this, you have health issues and you're barely getting by, prepare for those situations because it can happen to you too. Life is full of examples. They should be teaching you, but a lot of people are looking at these things like, oh, that would never happen to me. And then you end up in that situation, right? So pay attention. So we forget how important the federal government is in terms of our financial future. For most people, the bottom 90% of people, the federal government is the most important financial actor, Ghilarducci said. So you have to pay attention to politicians' stance on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Pay attention to that. You're not going to be able to survive off of Social Security alone, people. You're not going to be able to do that. Again, that retired person who was once a business owner, then she became ill. She's had 15 surgeries. She has an $18,000 car, and it's not even worth $18,000. She has credit card debt. She had to file for bankruptcy. Whatever money she's getting from Social Security, it's not enough. And then here's another kicker. If you are age 62 and you're not over 65 yet, at the age of 62 and you don't have enough money saved for retirement, but you're collecting Social Security, there's a cutoff. You can only make a certain amount of money. And then after you make over that, I believe every other dollar is taxed. So it would behoove you to have a good plan in place, people. You have to put a plan in place. If you don't put a plan in place, again, you're planning to fail. That's the way life is. Again, we live in the most, financial, we live in the best place in the world. America is. That's why people are killing themselves and are trying to get over legally or illegally all the time. Here's the thing. Most Americans have not traveled out of America, so they don't realize how good they have it. Being in the military, I have traveled all over. I've been to India. I've been to Africa, Asia. We have it good. I've been in the Middle East. We have it good. Poor people in America, or who we would consider poor in America, is not poor in a lot of countries. Some people are sleeping on dirt floors. Some people have no electricity, no running water. Some people are, they're making, a few dollars a day is their income. So we're not taking advantage of the country that we live in. And you have to start doing so, or you will continue to be a victim of your own creation. We need to understand that the problems that we're facing in America when it comes to finances, we're creating them. And a lot of it's because of the lack of knowledge. We don't know what we don't know. But if you keep doing what everyone else is doing, or if you had your mother, father, grandmothers, grandfathers, or people around you who are transitioning out of life, who have since passed on and they didn't have enough, then life is telling you don't do what they did, or you will end up in the same boat as them with nothing and working at the age of 70, you know. So, yeah, that's all I want to talk about. Right now, I have to end this video because it's getting late and I have to go cook my dinner, some veggies, some kidney beans, some quinoa. So yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Let me know what you guys think. If you think anything at all. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I pretending to be one. So any and all information on my channel is for informational and entertainment purposes only. So please consult with a financial advisor before you invest any of your money if you yourself is not comfortable in doing it. All right, so you guys take care. Peace out.